What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of the Buy the Hood podcast or webcast, because I don't know how you're consuming this content. I'm your host as usual. My name is Jimmy. I got my partner at this table with me. What's going on, Core?
What's going on, Jim?
Oh man, I can't complain. Ain't nobody listening. It's fair and partly cloudy. But listen, this is a special episode. I think you'll get a lot of value from this episode for the people out there watching. Before we get into that, I have to say this. Now, please subscribe to the channel if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening on any sort of podcast platform, whether it's Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you're listening, make sure you subscribe and share this content, because we like to highlight, our people who are out doing amazing things, which leads me to our next guest. We have Jamisa McIvor coming on of Rosebud's investment. And listen, her story is amazing, right? I'm going to let her tell it, but I love her story, and I love the fact that not only is she building something in our community and helping others, but like she's changing her goals and continuously building, but she also gives back, which makes it unique, because guess what? She's 25 years old, people. 25 years old. So without further ado, I'd like to say what's going on to Jamisa. How are you?
Hi.
Listen.
When I do like the podcast, they can't see me, so I'm like smiling and laughing. They don't know.
Oh, they can see you too. We're gonna have this on YouTube too, so they can see you smiling. So make sure you smile to the people. But listen, your story to me is remarkable, and I'll let you tell it. Because you kind of like bumped into this life and you're taking it and running with it, right? So a lot of people get opportunities, but a lot of people don't take advantage of it the way you did. So
yeah, I'm learning that more and more as I meet more people, and I'm like, well, what's wrong with me?
Nothing's wrong with you at all.
You're right. It's a lot of people who, like, I like to say, opportunity is everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You just like that. It looks dressed up with a name badge that says like opportunity on it, and sometimes that doesn't happen. Well, I won't even say sometimes. It usually never happens.
Yeah.
Or a bunch of different things, and you just gotta like make them. So I like to say I create opportunities.
Man, that's amazing. Listen, so the first thing I'll say is this though. You created you take advantage of the opportunity that came to you. But it's funny because I remember when I started in the business years and years ago, I used to think that I was weird and nobody was like me. But then like as social media comes about, you start to meet people all over the world, and you're like, oh, I'm not strange. Like
you're not strange. There are people who are like similar to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, tell people how you actually got started in the real estate business. Where are you from? Where are you from with your schooling? How that whole thing worked out for you?
Okay, so I'm originally from South Philadelphia. Born and raised. So I lived there my whole entire life until about 17 years old when I went off to college. So that was it, South Philly.
Okay, where in South Philly?
18th Street, so between Dickinson and Tasker.
Okay.
What they call it? New Bold.
Oh yeah. They switched the name up on us. New Bold. So what college did you end up going around to?
I went to Lock Haven.
Okay.
For 2 years, and I dropped out.
Okay.
I was like, oh.
You done with that.
Yeah. And it was so crazy because I went to school originally to be a clinical child psychologist. I was always good with like helping people, solving problems, getting into your brain, helping you think things through. Like that was my thing. And I was like, okay. And my childhood, I wasn't a big fan of it. Like it wasn't horrible, but it's like the typical story. It's like you're raised by your grandma, you got a mom and a dad somewhere in the world. It's like, so I know what it felt like to be a problem child or a child misunderstood. So I was like, oh bang, I know what I'm gonna do with my life. I'm gonna help children grow up to be awesome adults. But when I got to college, it just was weird. I was taking a lot of gen eds that had nothing to do with what I wanted to do. And I was spending a lot of money to do it. So I was like, all right, I don't know. Like, let me take a step back. I'm good with it. I have always been very self-aware. So I was like, let me reevaluate this whole college thing because I don't know.
You know what? That's a gem already you gave us about being self-aware, right?
Right.
Self-awareness is key. Like, you have to understand what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, also how to attack your weaknesses, if that's something you need to do. But also just the idea of being self-aware is very powerful in itself.
Hey, hi, guys. Look, I've been spotted.
Oh, here they come. They found you, huh?
Yeah. So we got he was Captain America yesterday. I don't know what he is today.
Hey, what's going on? All right, so from Lafayette, not Lafayette, you said Lock Haven. I'm sorry. So from Lock Haven, when you came back, what was your plan?
I actually didn't have one.
Okay.
I didn't have one. A lot of the principles that I live by now, and a lot of things. Wait, you gotta put on your pajamas, guys. You go downstairs and ask Daddy for your onesie. You get a popsicle. I have to bribe one, so you gotta know what your kids need.
Hey, listen, this is real life. This is real life. We raw and uncut. We raw and uncut. This is real life.
Gotta go this way. We gotta go this way. Okay, how about you go? You lead the pack, and everybody gets a popsicle. See, you see how he just walks off. He's like, "Yeah, mom, I got you. I'm out." But he's the only one that's moving in that direction. I think it's so funny because as a mom, as a wife too, like my husband's somewhere, and the house is kind of big, so he has to hear that they're bothering me before he comes to. Or we usually communicate via text. I'm like, "Yeah, I've been spotted." But often women think they have to choose, which is completely unrealistic. You can't choose. Like you have to do both. It's like not optional for you to be a mom part-time and then a business owner part-time, and that's not what success looks like. So real success for me is being able to do this and saying like, get out, like bye, right? Because if I was at work, I would be completely choosing. It'll be one or the other. Like I would be at work and I wouldn't be able to be here for him. So it'd be like funny when they catch me, and I'm like, I've been spotted. Like how am I gonna get around this?
Hey, listen, but like I said, this is real life. But that's why. But I think it's amazing though because we want to show people that there are people who are dealing with some of the same things they deal with. And
like kicking ass at it too.
Exactly, and I think that's important. That's important.
I was at a table nursing a kid, and she had like a thing over, and they was like, "Did I hear something?" I'm like, "What's that whole baby under here? Like, this is a kid." But it was like, "No way." And they're like, "Oh shit, it's a baby under here the whole time." Like,
but at the same time, you still handle your business. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's important. That's absolutely important.
See it too, so I think it's dope. So we gotta go back.
Yeah. So you said you had no plan. So how'd you end up getting into real estate?
So what happened is I was a cashier at the time. I had one child, so that was my son. He's the oldest. He's 5 now, and I was pregnant with my second. She's the boss baby. That's what we call it. So she was the
Got
one.
you.
She was giving me trouble the whole time I was pregnant. And at that time, I had done a dollar deed transfer with my grandma. It was like the family house. I feel like she was there my whole life. I might have been conceived there. Like that's a joke, but I'm serious. Like she had that. That was one of the houses that she had gotten back in the day. They had like some type of dollar house thing going on in the hood. Nothing about it, but that's how she got hers.
I remember that. You remember that core back in the day, dollar house?
Hey, listen.
She say like I stood in the line for this house. I'm like, you stood in the line, and it was $1. She's like, yeah, it was $1, and I'm like, okay. So that's how she got that house, literally through one of those programs. And one day she asked me, what would happen to the house if something was to happen to me? And I'm like, I don't know. Like that's a loaded question, Grandma. I'm not really sure. She was like, I want you to look after it for me. She has some very distinct rules, which I feel like was a complete setup, and I did the opposite. I'm telling you the opposite. I tried to stick with what she asked, but I did the opposite. One was, I want you to oversee it. If anybody needs somewhere to live, you're the landlord, and they have to pay you rent, which was insane because I'm like, they got to pay me. Okay, great. The second one was not to sell it because this is all we had. Like she said that. And the third thing was fix it up. Will be great. Right? So that was her rules for me.
How old were you at this time? How old were you at the time when when you actually?
But I was almost 19.
Okay, so you were
I was young.
19 years old. Oh wow.
You got Anna. Yes, I was really young. And as she was giving me the instructions and doing all of this, I didn't care what she was talking about because it's like, Grandma, you still live there. Like I heard what she said, but to me it was just a matter of us signing paper. I went on with my daily life and she went on with hers.
Got you.
It wasn't until she died, which is when I was 19. That was the following year, and I was like, So wait, what did she say again? And now I'm like playing it all back. Okay, so taxes, because it was free and clear. There was no debt on it. So
okay.
Taxes. I was good with that. All right, I gotta fix this up because that was my first thing. Because I was somewhere renting. And I was like, all right, so we get to live somewhere for free. Bet it's on. My husband at the time was my boyfriend, so we were young. Like, he was 21, like we were young. So I was like, oh, we got a free house. Let's go. So that was kind of the move until you walk in and it's like a grandma's house.
Got you.
Plastic on her couches. I'm like, yeah, no. So the way the recess lights go, like how we do this, like we have to make it look a little bit modern. So we start to call in help from contractors. All, of course, we were getting like referral based. I did a little bit of Googling because we don't know anything about this world. This is a whole new world. We just getting a bunch of quotes, 50,000, 60,000, a lot of money. But one thing that was really constant is that, look, we could buy this off, like this is a lot. You might as well just let us get this off. Be like, look, I got my checkbook. Like they was like on it.
They trying to play that game.
She said, don't sell it. Like, but why you want it? Because they kept saying this is too much. Like they was making it seem like it was the hardest project in the world, but then they could do it. So me being stubborn, if you could do it, I could do it. Let's just figure something out. Let's meet in the middle. It didn't work. But my knight in shining armor, which I like to call him, was a guy who lived next door to my grandma, which was really odd. I wasn't paying attention to it then, but now I'm like noticing. Well-shaven, 3-piece suit, cufflinks, lives next door to my grandma.
Okay.
Middle of the hood, right? And at that time, his house looked exactly like the houses across the street. But a couple years before that, there weren't any houses across the street. It was lots. And a couple years before that, it was all abandoned buildings with graffiti on it. But you don't know what that means when you see it. It's like, oh, somebody fixed these houses up, you know. But this specific guy, he was the neighbor. His house was connected to my grandma's. And he just didn't like how stuff was going because while I was home, my family would come breaking in the house, throwing trash in the yard. At this time, this is a $300,000 house for him. You don't want to see that when you're on his rooftop deck. Like, he want to see beauty. He's seeing chaos. So what he did was connect me with the realtor who helped him purchase his house. And after that, that's when things started to come together. I sat there with a guy. We went over what a consumer notice was, like all of that stuff. He's like, look, we're going to list it. We'll list it for I think he said we'll list it for 115. It was somewhere in between like 115, 120. I don't remember the exact numbers. And I'm like, but the contract, the guy said, I'm not going to get no more than like 70 for this. So I'm in my head just like, all right. I signed on the dotted line. We listed. Within 3 or 4 days, we had a bidding war. Like, they like going at it. I ended up settling out for 152. And I was like, that's a long way from his 70 that he was talking about.
Yeah, you doubled up on him.
It was crazy. But again, why a bidding war? Why this house? Like, these was things that just wasn't connecting. I'm just a young person. Like, I'm done with it. Y'all could break in all y'all want to make minds. I just kind of wanted that sense of freedom. So then after that, the realtor connected me with one of his friends who was a financial advisor. And I remember going to City Hall, big building, glass building, almost the top floor. And he was talking to me about investing his money. And it was like, yeah, so you just do a Roth IRA, you sit it down, come back when you're 50-something, we give it back. Don't touch it before you're 50 because then you're in trouble. I'm like, you want me to go back to work? Like, I was, so, hold on. So what's your name again? Don't you want me to give you my whole one? Like, can I keep the 52 in me? Like, all right, okay, no. I'm like, nah, I can't. Don't even sound right. It just didn't.
Because you were still working as a cashier at the time, right?
Still working. Mind you, we have 1.5 babies. I'm like, yeah, all right. A Roth IRA. What does IRA even stand for? Like, you got to really break this down for me because this sounds crazy. I just met you 5 minutes ago. Why would I do that? So I was like, no, it just didn't sit right in my spirit. I always been really innovative, though. I can say that about myself. I always was one of those people who are inquisitive. I'm going to figure stuff out. I'm going to learn it. So I was like, nah, no, thank you. I respectfully declined. And he said, well, that's a lot of money. What do you want to do with it? And I remember my shoulder shrug and everything. I had my Kanye mode on. I'm like, I'm going to buy houses. Like, I studied just like that. I was in for a world of surprises, but that's what I meant, though. Like, I meant that if my house got me that much money, then I'm going to buy a house with it. That was it. It was like a no-brainer for me. So once they figured out I was serious, the realtor was like, all right, well, I got this guy. He's an investor, and maybe he can help you. So I was like, all right, cool. He connected me with this guy who's a real estate investor. And that was my first time meeting someone who was different. Because I thought that a real estate agent was the same as an investor at the time. I didn't know the difference.
Okay. So you're learning all this on the fly. You had no experience in real estate or anything.
I be saying I'm the crash test dummy. That was a real thing.
But
I learned stuff just my phone calls.
But here's what's amazing about your story. Not to cut you off, but it's just that, like, first off, there's so many jewels here, right? So we always talk about generational wealth. And your grandmother set you up for everything you have now. Mm-hmm. She laid the foundation for it. And I tell people all the time, I got a hashtag, stop losing granny house. Because I see people all the time who lose grandmom's house because they don't see the value in it.
The whole existence comes from it. But even once I started to learn, I have a great grandma who was the grandma who passed. That was her mom. Okay. She had a house that she lived in South Philly, and then a house right up the street that she had moved out of when she married my grandfather. So they were both on 18th Street, the one I grew up in, and then a house that was on a 1400 block, right? So those three houses together, we were sitting on like $1 million.
And that's what I'm saying. And a lot of times we don't recognize. Yeah, people don't recognize that. People be like, yo, that's grandmom's house, right? They don't understand, like, because in their head it's just grandmom's house. But
my great grandma retired 3 times. Like, grandma, you was sitting on $500,000, like debt free, no mortgages. I'm like, yeah. And what's so sad about the whole thing is when I sold mine, I was like, grandma, you saw that one because it's just sitting there. So this was before I caught up on game because I should have took the profits from one, fixed the other, the refi thing. Like, it was options there. but I was still scratching the surface and I didn't know. So we lost 2 South Philly houses.
Wow.
Whoa.
Where,
Whoa.
and you're on 18th Street?
On 18th Street, and then my grandma's house was Chadwick Street, so that was between Wharton and Reed.
Wow. Wow. For those who not in Philadelphia, you don't know, that's like
Yeah, it's cool.
that's over $500,000 easy. You close to $1 million right there.
Just gave it away.
But that's a lesson for you. But at the same time though, now look at you. Not you know.
So I never get upset. We'll buy it again. I say it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to pay like triple for it, but like I'm over it. Like
I mean, because honestly, like something similar to that happened to me with some vacant land that was in my family's name. But I'll tell you what happened in this situation.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I had a situation where you know, my father passed and I had aunts or whatever that passed, and so they owned this lot together. But they like, you ever see a situation where someone leaves a property to like 8 different people?
Yeah.
And no one could ever agree on anything. So that's one of the things I tell people all the time. Even if you have multiple kids, a couple of kids, you have to pick one person, the responsible person, or something.
That's what my grandma did. Unbeknownst, because they didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a dad, I have aunts and uncles. They're all like twice my senior. They was not feeling the decision, but the direction that they were going to go. And like, even when it was, so they're like, give me 40, give me 50, give me 20. It's like we were all still separated, going different ways. That 20 would have been going, the 40 would have went to, I think my uncle wanted a truck. He didn't even have a license. So
no, yeah, I understand that.
Come on, y'all, like seriously, because nobody knew the bigger picture, and not for nothing, I'm no better than them. I didn't know the bigger picture, but I was gonna find one because it had to be a bigger picture, duh.
Yeah, so you figured it out. You kind of like learned on the fly, which is amazing.
No other way. Like when you got, it's crazy. So what ended up opening my eyes originally was talking to that investor.
Mm-hmm.
He sold it. He had you do what? Really? Like, you know, you could have sold that for $300,000. I'm like, well, where's my $250,000 then? Do I'm missing $250,000? Like, where is it? And that's what like started that fire for me. I was hurt. Okay,
so after that, how'd you get into your next deal? Like, what was your strategy at that point? Did you go to an auction? Did you buy it off the MLS? Like,
well, I didn't. I don't think I've purchased off the MLS at all so far in my career. My first person was him, the investor.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the jam, which was odd because he was older than me too, but he was one of those people like just, you know, you just dream real big. Like, that was him.
Okay.
So he had some situations where he was right in the middle of a really dope project and his money was tied up. I was in a situation where we had money, and I was like, well, I need houses. What can we do? So he was like, all right, look, I got some sitting. And you know, you got the inventory sitting. He had to play Monopoly. He had to cash in some chips. So I started to buy his properties.
Okay.
It worked out really well. So the first I got was what I called the tree house. Didn't even see it. It was $65,000. He got it for $25,000 from an auction. So that was like auction. In the back of my mind, he got this for $25,000. He sold it to me for $65,000. Auction. I gotta go to that place, whatever that place is. So that was my first like thing. And then there was another one. We did kind of like a subject too. Cause I'm like, yo, this cash, like, and cash spins. So as you starting to peel, I'm like, it's going down. And I had that fear of losing the money too. Cause this brand new, I gotta make this work. That one had a tenant in it. So he was like, just pay me the difference between what I owe and the mortgage. And it was like $20,000. I gave him that, and I like directly inherited the tenant, which was like dope because she was already in there. The mortgage was $300. She's paying $1,000. No brainer.
Yeah.
What did I buy next? I know I bought one from a wholesaler in Philly. He's really popular too. On Instagram. I slide on. I'm finding other investors. Now I got this investor, but I'm like, investors, that's who I need. Where's the investors? Find this guy. He's selling the house. I meet him. It was so funny. I think he originally asked like 50 something. And I call myself negotiating. I'm like, look, I'll give you 45 for it. And he's like, yeah, no problem. This simple. This is easy. We get to the closing table. I'm coming with my cashier's check. I see the guy. Then I see another guy signing papers. I'm like, well, who's this? They're like, oh, that's the owner. I'm like, wait, so who are you? Oh, I'm an investor. I'm a wholesaler. I'm like, damn. So lesson number 2.
You didn't know what a wholesaler was. You figured that out.
I did not know what I'm like, that's why that negotiating. I felt so good though. The negotiating, you had to see me. I'm like, I got
this. So what was this? What was the spread of what he made? And do you remember what that was?
15,000.
You said 15?
Yeah, 15,000.
Okay.
I felt like salty because I didn't know, but all this was learning experiences that I took with me, and that was a turnkey. I painted it. We put baseboard heaters in it and rented it out like in 2-3 weeks. We was good. Yeah, I think the security deposit put me in about $5,000, if I'm not mistaken, for that.
So after after what deal did it really start to click and you say, this is a career now? Like, was it the first one or was it the second or the
Nah,
auction?
the first couple would just be like, all right, I'm making money. I'm cool. I got this. But I wasn't like at peace because it was like, yo, you still need some more. Like, if this gonna be a thing, you got to make it a thing, and you still have more money, and you're gonna spend that money one way or another. So, because you know them trips calling you, the bags calling you, your family like, give it to me. I'm homeless now. It was sick. I was like, you gotta make this work. Now I remember auctions like younger years because we used to get notices a lot, right? The notices would go away, some type of settlement would happen. You know, I'm young, so I'm not paying attention. So when the guy said auction, I'm like putting two and two together. Is this the same thing? I went to the auction my first time with the guy's girlfriend. And she had like this formula, like, you don't bid past this, you don't do this and that. She just had this whole paper, this whole thing. And I'm a high I. My personality is like, I'm like a D and I. Like, I'm aggressive with stuff. I'm not like, no, don't bid on this. I'm like, yo, I'm like, put the paper down. Like, I'm here. My first property was $1,700 from that auction.
Wow.
That's when it became a real thing because I'm like, well, I could have had the 17 from ShopRite. Screw this money that I have now, but like, I could have did this months ago. And then you got people in there losing grandma's houses. Like, that's when it was a thing. I'm looking at the atmosphere. I'm looking at what's around me. I'm like, damn, I could have been here last month. I could have been here a month before.
Yeah.
I could have been here every month. No Christmas. I could have been here. Income tax. I could have been here. So I was like, okay. And she was looking at me in amazement because I'm right at it. I'm second bidder on stuff. Like, I'm outbidding other people. Like, this is a thing for me. I got this thing. I'm like, I know exactly where we're going to spend the rest of this money at. And there's been closed curtains. I went to auctions like every month after that for like the last 5 years.
Wow. So is that where you get most of your inventory?
Well, that's how it started out. So I got a few things from there because you got the $1,700 houses. I got a house for $500, a 7-unit for $2,000. It was crazy. But what stood out to me the most is when you actually go to certain auctions, you don't have to buy the house. So you put it on a deposit, and then you have 30 days to either come up with the rest, but you can sell it in like a wholesale manner.
Yeah.
But the formula for it was so crazy because the minimum deposit was $600. So can you imagine putting down $600 on a property, profiting $30,000 because you sold it for more than you owed? So then I'm like, damn, okay. So that's when it kind of became a career because I started teaching people that, like, yo, you got it. Did you see it? Like, I was there. Go, go, go. People going making $60,000, $200,000.
Let me ask you a question. I like to ask people this all the time, no matter like what business they're in. Like, how is that moment, right, when everything starts to click and you remember like working the jobs like a shop, right? And then you realize that people are making money over here, not even standing on their feet all day when you had to, you know what I mean? How was that moment when it first clicked? Like,
first of all, you just felt like a dodo, like, damn. Then you feel compelled to make that change, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, anybody that come in your path, you like Rosebud, outside of the whole real estate thing, Rosebud is a multi-6-figure company because I help people. And it's just so crazy because in the beginning, I was just excited to share. So I was helping people for free. They called me like, yeah, thanks. I just made $60,000. I'm like, you're welcome. Like, okay. And then when it became consistent, yeah, this is business.
The name Rosebud, where's that come from?
Her name was Rose.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. So you even honoring her in that. She set this all off. That's amazing. That's an amazing story. So at this point, right?
To it. When it's like in you and it's real for you, it's like you ain't gotta be too creative. Like, this is what it is, and this is why I'm doing it. So.
No, this is amazing. This is an amazing story. So your grandmother started this off for you, and at this point, so now, right now today as we speak, you're 25, right?
25 until next month.
Okay, 25, and your portfolio is worth about how much?
$3 million, but that's debt free. I don't have mortgages at all.
Wow.
Whoa.
So you have a $3 million debt free portfolio at 25 years of age.
What? I'll be refiring soon.
You gonna grab some of that bread at work, put the work, huh?
Because I came in, you don't know about credit though. So this is a whole other thing. Like when I say all of this was new to me, all of this was new to me. So
okay.
Like, I have a 580 credit score. I had the luxury of not having parents that put 1,000,001 things in my name either. But no credit is just as bad as, bad credit. So I was like, all right, we got to figure this out. But all I knew was Monopoly. I really played that as a kid. So I'm like, no, just sell that one. You got more money, go buy 2 more. All right, now sell this one. It was so many times I was cash poor and house rich. Like, so many times. But then you meet people who are higher than you, more successful. They like, yeah, leverage. Oh, don't touch your money. Use other people's. That's why they was looking at me like that with them cashier's checks. I didn't know what that meant, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they was calling their homies like, yo, hey, the house you was about to sell, you might as well sell it now. I got a buyer. I'm like, I'm on the buyer's list. I didn't even know, all that. What shit, cash buyer? Okay, whatever that means.
You're literally learning through doing, right?
That's it.
So at any
Yeah.
point, so at any point, did you feel like, all right, let me just slow down and like try to get the knowledge, right? So who was someone that helped you out throughout this process outside of that first investor?
Slow down to get the knowledge. I always learned as I was going. So I remember this lady. Her name is Aisha Selden. You guys interviewed her before.
We already did. Isha's a personal friend of ours. We went to school together, so she was already on here. So Ish helped you out, huh?
I DM'd her. I said, yeah, you're great. I just want to sit down and talk to you one day. And mind you, at this point, I probably was about 8 houses in, but now I'm almost broke. So I'm like, damn. Like, it kind of forced me to slow down a little bit. So I'm like, yo, I love what you're doing. I already got some stuff going on, but I would just love to learn from you. She's like, oh, yeah, no problem. Let's do Starbucks. It's 6 too early. It was like a Saturday morning. I don't drink coffee. I'm like, Starbucks, cool. 6 on the Saturday shit. You talking to her, you might as well get there at 5. Like, it was a thing for me.
Yeah.
And I remember meeting her, and there probably was like 2 or 3 other people who must have DM'd her before until she wanted to do a one-shot deal. And I stood out. And she told me. I stood out. And it wasn't because of the houses, because I think at the time I didn't really tell her all that I had going on. I just was, like she said, she made a reference like, the first one to come, the last one to leave. Like, I was just soaking. Like, that was my homie ever since. Like, I couldn't stop talking about it. Now, fast forward, we actually sit on panels together. Like, she's my friend. I can call her. But
that's amazing.
I slid right in the DM. Like, listen.
See, but that goes to your personality, right? So, like, another gem right there. Like, you're giving our listeners and viewers a lot of wisdom right here, if you guys are paying attention, because she took action, right? You fell into this life, but at the same time, you just kept moving. You kept moving forward. And even when it came to you meeting her, right? You first of all, you had the gonads to even just jump in the DM like, yo, what's up? Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't do that. And yeah, but that one move right there, which didn't cost you a dime, led to you making a connection that's going to help you forever. Because listen, Isha's thorough. Like I said, Isha's a friend of ours. She's thorough, and that's one of the things that she does. But I see you now doing, which is impressive to me, is like now giving back. So now, like you said, you're on panels with her, but you also reach back and help others. Like, so that's amazing.
Because they need it. Like, it's strength in numbers. You got to understand. So everything has its highs and lows. No matter where you get in life, you're going to have a downtime for yourself. And it doesn't have to be financially. It could be spiritually, emotionally. It could be something where something's off with you. And the same people you see going up, you see coming back down. So I done built these people up, right? So if I'm going down, I know I could call at least 1 or 2 people that's like, no, I got you. Because it make you sleep better at night. Those humble beginnings is so different from somebody just giving it to you.
Absolutely.
And I always look at it like, okay, my grandma did give me a house. She did do that. But people win a lottery too.
Listen,
houses.
I see grandmas leave houses every day, and I've seen people lose grandma's house for taxes.
Taxes. When you
all the time.
On a tax agreement.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in there like $1,500, $1,600. Now I done got your grandma's house, her whole legacy for what, $6,000?
Exactly. And it happens all the time, right? Yeah. And because a lot of times there's a lack of knowledge too, though. A lot of times people don't know, which is important, like to even have a platform like this, or for you going out there speaking on panels.
I don't agree. I love your platform.
No. But what I'm talking about a lack of knowledge is, I know it, but just based upon like, so I'm an agent, but also an investor. And I've bought houses that way myself, not even gonna lie, where it's like, yo, I'm getting ready to lose this or whatever. And you talk to the people and they don't know. And I've also helped people like, listen, all you have to do is go down there and make a payment arrangement. Some people just don't know.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't think that's an excuse.
No, it's not an excuse. No, it's not an excuse.
Like that lack of knowledge thing, I said it somewhere. I don't remember where I was speaking at. It's not about what you don't know. It's about what you don't go learn. See, this is the thing. A lot of people, not just our people, because, we like to victimize a lot of people, but a lot of people don't take ownership for what they say they want. Everybody says, I want better. Okay, where's better? What's better to you? Because I'm intrigued by stuff that I see. Like, if I see somebody with a private jet, I'm like, it's only a jet. They make them, so how did you get it? So what do I have to do to get it? So you have people that's like, so you have people that's like, I want to do X, Y, Z. But it's like, well, what's stopping you from doing it?
Taking action. That's the second part of it. The part is the knowledge. One part is the knowledge or know-how. Second part is the action. And action might be more important because a lot of times, if you take action, even if you don't have the full information, by taking action, you'll learn through that action.
You'll find it on the way. And I think people, it's more just fear. Outside of all of the other stuff, I think it's just that fear. But I'm not afraid to fear. I mean, I'm not afraid to fail at anything. Like, that's
Yeah.
one thing about me. It's
But
like,
that's why you're a massive
Yeah,
taking. That's
that's
why
why
you're a
you're an
massive taking.
inspiration.
Yeah, because you're taking the action. A lot of people don't have that, and I mean, you'd be surprised how many people like will ask you a question that they could just literally Google. And I'm like, you didn't even think to Google that? Like, no, I didn't. Like, we're in 2019.
That's really my new life. Like, somebody asked me, how do you find an owner? I said, skip trace. So she wrote me back and said, skip trace with a question mark. I'm like, you ain't going to ask me to break down skip trace. A part of me almost enabled it. I was going to do it. I was like, nope. Now I got to leave you hanging because, bro, seriously. Like,
And that's my point, right? So like, yeah, like you got to, yeah. So but that's amazing. So now you have this platform where you're speaking on panels, you're helping other people, and you've done well by your grandmother's name. Like that's an amazing story. So what's the future for Rosebud Investments? What's your future?
private jet.
Okay, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I put it on a private jet. That's a real thing.
that's a time saver.
It's a time saver. It's a peace of mind. I ain't got to share. I want the window seat, but you got them. They want to fall asleep off to the side. It's like, go ahead. Like, private jet. There's multi-units too.
Okay.
Excited about multi-units. Because I only have two. But those two are going to bring in more than almost half my portfolio. Sad to say.
Oh, that's cool. Hey, but listen, you moving into multis. Like, are you looking for specific sizes, like, or any size at this point?
Me, I'm not picky. I take anything. Give me the worst thing you can find. Like, I'm that person. Like, I'm not picky at all.
Now, is all your portfolio in Philadelphia, or have you branched out to a different place?
I have Chester and I have Philadelphia. And
Chester.
then where I live now, it's like upper Pennsylvania. I live in the Poconos. So
Okay.
That's the Airbnb movement for my husband and I.
Okay.
I was going to say Airbnb. We want to really aggressively get into that, but I want to do it in different places, like more resort style, like Jamaica, Puerto Rico, stuff like that. So that takes a little bit more education because you have to, not as simple as I'm going to get a house right here and rent it out. Like you have to kind of go by their rules and regulations.
Okay. Like something else I find interesting, like about you being so young, right? So you're 25 years old, but I also see that you believe in like, working on yourself in terms. I've seen you, because I follow you on Instagram. Going to events, meeting people, networking. Like, so you believe in like, self-help and working on yourself. You invest in yourself outside of your business. You invest in yourself.
You're your greatest investment. I can only take myself as far as I know until I learn something else.
But where did you get that part from? Is that something that you always thought, or like along this journey, how'd that click?
No, that came from when I was young. Remember I said my childhood wasn't ideal for me. So I was always seeking something else. Like all the time. I was always seeking something. So that's where that came from for me. So just now on this scale, it's like now you know who those people are. When you were young, you found all kinds of people as role models and you didn't realize they weren't good people until you realized that they weren't good people. But that was me. I was like, I had the latchkey, what they call you? The latchkey
kid, yeah.
That was me. And the crazy thing is I have siblings, but they didn't live with me. I lived with my great grandma. So
now that you're like, you're in a whole different space at this point, right? So now, you're traveling, you're working on yourself, you have your business. What is your family's response to you? Like,
the first one or right now?
Well, right now, because so I know at first how you told me they didn't, they felt some type of way about, grandma leaving you the house or whatever. But now they see that what you did with that. Yeah. What is what's the relationship now? Like, how's that working?
It's like a love-hate thing. Because I was able to retire my great grandma. So that's heavy.
Oh, that's amazing.
Like she retired 3 times before this, but I retired. Like she's done. All she has to do is babysit when she feels like it.
Oh, that's dope.
Washes our clothes sometimes. Then she cooks for us sometimes. But she got her moments. Like she's fired every week. I'm like, grandma, yeah, like grandma, what's up? But they gotta respect it because I show them like, so the life that I talk about, I live it, and it's really hard because on Instagram I don't post much because I feel like there's really a thin line between motivating and bragging. But like,
man, listen.
So I try to keep it as much as my personal.
You already get that, right? So I struggle with that like all the time, like and I have friends who tell me I put up posts before. A friend tell me, "Why don't you take that down?" Like so I have a circle that'll tell me when I'm doing too much.
Yeah, and it's like it could just generally, and that was me at first. I'm just excited, and they're like, "You're not humble." I'm like, "Well, I ain't posted a bank statement that like make you cry." Like I am ready. You know, I was a cashier and I'm not. Like I want you to. You gotta feel it. I feel it. Like it. You gotta understand. To me, it's not about money. I like money. That's great. the freedom to do whatever you want, go wherever you want, to have children and you know that they're not going to ever experience the stuff that you experience, that's so elating. It's like a drug. And it make you want to go 10 times harder, so you forever just climbing, because you're like, damn, there's no cap. Especially when you're young, I'm going to run till my body shuts down. Because when my body shut down, it's going to be on the island, and then it's going to be great, right? So I just push and push and push and push and push. So they see that, and they know me. Like, they know me. My heart is real pure. I tell people all the time, because I had people like, you give away too much. Stop doing this for free. Your time is blah, blah, blah. God pays me more than I could ever get monetarily. Like, the fact that he even gave me a mind to think the way that I do, my mind is sick. I'm like, damn, I wish I would have sat down with Einstein, because this crazy, because I'm like, yo, why am I like this? Why?
I love your confidence. It's amazing, right?
It's so crazy, because it's like, why am I like this? Like, yo, this is crazy. I don't know, man. They double back, for sure. I'm going to have a few cousins like, I heard you on the radio. You're so amazing. I'm like, yo, I was your cousin forever. I've been amazing, but thank you. And I just help everybody.
Yo, that's so fire, yo.
Yo, it's so weird, but I'm not one of those people that's like, oh. No, I'm like, yeah, come on. So now that you're ready to listen, I'm going to tell you what I was trying to tell you then. Like, I'm just for it. I'm with it. Like,
You know, it's crazy, Barry, because one of the secrets that I reckon, actually, I read this in a book, and, you know, it clicked in me because I actually saw it in play, which is Russell Simmons wrote a book called Do You. But in the book, he talks about the more that you do for other people, the more like that comes back to you. So he said that the secret for him for success was to help as many people as possible. The more people you help, that actually the more it helps you. And that's actually real, because I've seen that at play. That's one. So but another thing I realized is, so people all the time, like myself and Corey, would go out into the communities and do free events and teach people how to buy houses, how to buy stock, how to do all these things. And people would say, why are you giving away stuff for free? But it's also because I realized that 90% of the people that I talk to aren't going to do anything anyway. But it's about touching those 10%.
My husband, he'd be like, yo, you wasting your time. I'm like, no. So you got to understand, that's a you thing. Money don't fulfill me. If I lost all my money, I would make it back. Helping people is fulfilling to me. You have to think about what fulfills you. That's the true success. It's not a dollar amount. That's like, now that I made it, I'm happy. Because there's been times I had a lot of money. I'm like, yo, I still feel kind of crazy. What am I doing wrong? Like, because I don't chase money, I attract it now. It's weird. Because once you start doing what you want, money just comes to you. And the weirdest thing to me is just so odd. I just want to share this with the people that's listening. Please listen to the cliches. Like, you can manifest stuff. All the things that are like cliche is so real. It's so weird. I read Think and Grow Rich a while ago, like a long time ago as a teenager. I read it again recently. It hit different.
Yep.
Real. Like the stuff that you hear, the most simple things, your network is your network. That's a real, it sounds like, that sounds crazy. That's because you're around the wrong people. That's a real thing. Manifesting. I remember it was a couple years ago, I want to say maybe 3, 4, somewhere in there. I was dealing with Vizio, which is a lending source.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, yo, we have investment-friendly banking. You can't live there, but since you're an investor, you know, we're going to give you this property. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's go see it. We walk in this house. We drive like 3 hours. It's about 3 hours from the city. It's in Shaverton. We walk in this house, and there's no ceilings. Like, okay, it's ceilings. But it's no ceilings, right? I thought it would drop ceilings. I remember, like, damn, who clean their windows? Like, no, seriously, who clean their windows? Like, my brain went crazy. I'm like, yo, that's a house. Like, and you said we can't live here? Well, why? So now, what we got to do to live here? Like, I'm going in now because I'm obsessed with this house. Like, I'm mentally staging it. Like, yep, white section right there because it was black, like glass floor, like marble. I'm like, yo, I felt like Scarface because the tub was black. This house was crazy. And they talk about, I got to run it out. It's investment. Investment? All right, so I'm going to let somebody else invest in because I need this, right? I did everything in my power. I kind of borderline became obsessed with this house because I want it. I get it under contract. I'm like, this is going to be it. We're going to work it out. I lost the contract by like 2 seconds because I couldn't secure the funds fast enough. And I was like, but the fact that I got approved, all of this stuff, now it's the reality for me because I was going to try. I was obsessed with how, like, I needed windows that I couldn't clean myself. Like, I was obsessed with it. And then the following year, I ended up getting exactly what I obsessed about. Our children had a 12-foot Christmas tree that took 4 guys to cut down, and it was in my living room. I was like, yes! Then I'm like, you meant it. That's what you thought about it. All that was the real thing. I'm like, wait, It's that simple. Now, it wasn't exactly what I wanted.
That's
but
amazing.
I'll take it. I can't clean the windows, so
That's amazing.
I'm like, wait, is it that simple? Just put yourself out there, be authentically you. Like, just stuff like that. Like, money doesn't buy happiness. That's the cliche. You need money in order to be okay. I'm not saying walk around broke and homeless. What I'm saying is when you find what fulfills you, that brings you happiness, and that happiness brings you money. So it's a circle, but we usually go the opposite way. So we chase the money thinking we'll get enough money and then we'll be happy. But sometimes that paper chase is what wears you down, and that takes away from the happiness. So like those cliches, listen to cliches.
Listen, you out here teaching, man. You listen. I got another question for you, right? So you mentioned Think and Grow Rich, right? So give us an example of because you're also into self-help.
Yeah.
What are a couple of your favorite books? We like to talk about books and give people book recommendations.
Let me tell you, I put audibles on because I'm just like sick. What is it? Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. I got that for free one day from like a dentist office, and I just had the book. I didn't even know what it was. Like, it's so funny. I didn't even really know what it was until recently. Like, Dad, I read that book, so I had to go back and read it again. Money Master the Game is a good one. I think Tony Robbins had wrote that during the last recession, and I had to really get into that because I didn't survive the last recession. So in 2008, I was entering like 9th grade. Money Master the Game, that was something that was really good. People say Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I started to read it until I realized which dad I was. So I was like,
I never heard that one before. That's a new one.
Books though. I got some in my home.
But it got me. So what's your favorite though? Out of all those, because if it's your favorite, you don't have to look at your phone. What's your favorite one?
The Bible. It's so weird.
Okay.
So I
got
that worked.
This is the thing. The Bible actually tells you to invest in real estate. This is really weird. So what I do is I got this app. It's called Bible Gateway. I don't know if you guys can see it, but every day a new like scripture will come up for you, and that will be like what your scripture of the day is. And I start with that because that don't take much work, right? You just want to make sure you protect it out the day and you leading in the right direction. So one of these scriptures was the unfolding of your words gives light. It gives understanding to the simple. That was Psalms 119. So that just was my reminder, like, all right, simplify it, keep it going. You're giving light to people. Now I leave by that because at the end of the day, it's all bells and whistles, smokes and mirrors. Anyway, we all gotta leave it. You can't take life super serious. I'm not about to cram my brain with chapters and chapters and chapters because you can't remember everything anyway. It's more so experience based. So I live day by day. Like this gonna be a new day. How am I going into it? I really think the Bible. It's so crazy. You get one scripture a day and you just like, all right, what does this mean to me? How does this apply to where I'm at right now? If it's not something that specifically applies to you, then just be mindful of it as you're going through your day. You're like, damn, this is what God said. Okay.
Yeah, you're giving so much game right now because you're right about that. Like about like not taking yourself or life too serious, right?
You can't.
Yeah.
Come here.
Let me ask you a question though, because I like to know this. I'm not, which Bible verse tells you to invest in real estate? I don't want to know this for my personal edification, so I can like, go tell somebody.
If you Google.
Just so I could use these bars as I talk to somebody else, like the Bible tells you got to invest in real estate.
Hold on.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Corey?
Your daughter wants to put on her brother's polo collar shirt along with her diaper. You got
see, the reason is I'm leaving all this in there too. I'm not editing this out. You know why? Because this is real, right? We're talking to someone who is,
I always tell people like, don't.
No, I won't. I'm not because I think that it's important to see that
learn how to be you
unapologetically be
like,
you.
Kids they bring out the best in you too. Because now if you fail yourself, we'll give ourselves an easy way out. Like, we messed up. Oh, I'll try again. Like when your kids count on you, ain't no out for that.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no, like for me, it's like any means necessary for them. Like that's the thing for me. Like I mean it wholeheartedly. So I always tell people, don't be. I've been on the phone with people. I'm talking, so I'm like, I'm sorry. She crying, like, what you sorry for? Kids are not designed to be quiet. And if your kid is quiet, something's wrong with it. It's the kid. Like, she good. We here. It's a human thing. Now the fact that she's putting on 3 shirts is a little off. Like, I don't know.
No, but no, it's real though. But I think that that's why I like you because you are authentically you. And the fact of the matter is, like, you can. And be a real estate investor, you can have millions of dollars and you can still be you. You know what I mean? Because most people they feel as though they have to change and they can't be their authentic self.
Go ahead. No, you can't. And what I realized is So the only reason why it sticks out to me most is because being me got me here, so I wouldn't become somebody else because I wouldn't really know how to keep that up. Like once you jump into a different costume, it's like, damn, so what do Captain America do? Oh, he's a superhero, I gotta save the world. Now you want to take it off. You can't take it off once you get in a certain place, right? But what I realized is people like me. And I've been around like some of the like I met Kevin O'Leary.
Yeah, I saw you. You know, ask your question or whatever. That was
the question.
That was dope.
Kevin had to know I was in the room. They don't know who they in the room with until you tell them.
Exactly. But that's also about taking action, making yourself seen.
That's it.
Right? Mm-hmm.
It's a question. That's not a question just to get an answer. Right? But by me doing it afterwards, he was like, I want to talk to her. Like, who's that person? All because I stand up and I thought the question. Okay.
Yeah, it was about your family. Like how do you deal with how you deal with
How do you leave your family? Like I already left them. I knew the answer. Like I had to create that opportunity. The opportunity for you to know, like, you're not the only shark in the water. Hello, Mr. O'Leary. But for the people in the room to know too, I got clients. Everywhere I go, I leave with clients.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally, not by being a salesperson. None of that. None of that.
But you know, it's also a certain level of freedom that comes with being authentically you, right? Because one thing I recognize, just through experience, I know people that make a lot of money and who are absolutely miserable because they can't be their authentic self.
They're not fulfilled. So it's not that they can't be; it's that they decided to do something else and they couldn't really deal with what comes with that.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's why
you can't put it on.
All right, so before we get you out of here, the future is you to keep continuously grow your business. You said you're going to try to get more multifamilies. So is that it? Is it just real estate, or what else? Do you plan on expanding in anything else?
Diversify my portfolio. Everything is still real estate for me. Like I don't know if I should drop it. Well, what's for me is for me. So Temple has a real estate division. We don't have that with HBCUs. So I'm talking to somebody at Lincoln about creating the actual real estate division for HBCUs because we lack financial education when it comes to colleges. Mm-hmm. And it's like they in there and they racking up all that debt. So that's something that's for me.
Oh, that's dope. And shout out to Lincoln because myself and my wife both went to Lincoln. So that's a great idea. I didn't even thought about that. Like
but I realized that I needed to.
That's dope. That's dope.
So yeah, just stuff like that. Everything that I like to do right now is like the foundation of it is from real estate.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be like different aspects, like the education pieces and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. That's what's up.
Because people insist on giving people 8%. I might as well be people that's getting 8%. Just different things. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. So listen, I first and foremost, congratulations on everything.
Because congratulations.
Like I said, Corey, you guys got any questions before we get out of here, Corey?
Nah, she's just fire. Like she just does what she does and authentically. Like there's nothing else to say. Like I am who I am. I do what I do, and I love it. So I ain't nothing else to say. Ain't nothing else to talk about.
I was about to say Corey ain't had no rap for me. He wanted to talk about that.
You up here teaching? Listen, you dropping bars. We just backed up, let you go, man. Listen,
you was on go. I ain't had nothing else to say. Like you on go. You do what you do what you do. Like, and I understand your situation because I'm a person with 3 kids and a small child. So, doing that, like me, I just sent my family to go get something to eat while I did this interview. You know what I mean? So I like peace and quiet. So it wasn't, it's not inauthentic for me to be by myself. So I like peace and quiet when I do the interview. So I'm a little bit different. I like if my kids was making all that noise, I would lose my composure. So because I'm super attentive to my kids. So if my kids is making all that noise, I'm going to stop and do whatever it takes to, be with them. I wouldn't be paying attention to you got a better attention span than I do. Let me say it
listen,
that way.
She does this. But I think that.
I put 2 shirts on her. I put a onesie on the other one. I don't know if y'all see my arms going different places.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we peep game.
You're doing your thing, but that's why I said I'm leaving all that in because to me that's part of the whole overall story is that you can do both. You can do both, and you could be amazing at both. And listen, you got this because you're up here teaching. You like giving the sermon. You got me excited, and like I said, meeting people like you is important to me. I've been in the real estate game for since I was a teenager myself. So I'm entering my 22nd year in real estate. I'm entering my 22nd year in real estate. So when I meet people like you or people like Tom, who are younger people who are out here killing it, it's inspiring, and it's also amazing because the people that look just like you, like representation matters. So when they see that you're doing something on a higher level, and it's not entertainment, it's not, sports, it's not these things, you're going to inspire a lot of people. And I think that you know that, and you carry yourself as such, and you always giving out knowledge and game. So I just want to say congratulations and thank you too.
Thank you. Listen, it was a program I started a couple of months ago. So I was still doing the auction thing, but I was doing mortgage foreclosure instead of tax delinquent because the mortgage foreclosures are in better condition naturally. And I was taking like single moms, and it was like a rent to own thing because home ownership to certain people just so far ahead of what their brain can process, and it shouldn't be that way. And what they like the most about me, like I had staff and stuff, they're like, no, we can't talk to them, we have to talk to you. Just being relatable. Because I had somebody tell me, like, you're the nicest rich person I ever met. Like, I'm like, yeah.
Yo, fire, yo, absolute fire.
But I hear that so often, and I'm like, what?
Because people feel as though they have to act a certain way when I see it. I've seen people get complete accents as their net worth goes up. Their whole tone changes. Like, oh, why are you talking like that? You know what I mean? Like, that's how people feel. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I'm laughing when I was talking to Grant Cardone. I was in Atlanta. I was talking to him because I sat in the front row. This is so funny. You got to put yourself in the right places. Come on. Now, this is your third shirt. I'm going to take a picture of her with these 3 shirts on. Y'all going to know. This is the third shirt. Okay. Third. Yeah. Yeah. Come on. Matter of fact, show the people because they took the journey with us. This is shirt number 3.
Yo, that's crazy.
I'm gonna put the 3rd shirt on her because this is what she wants to do. The thing is, none of these shirts are hers, so that's what's killing me. I don't even care about the shirt. They not her shirt. I'm talking to Grant Cardone. And you just kind of got to meet people on a level. And it's so many people that I sat next to when I was there. Because he said something like, I think he was talking about how he had pulled out $60 million in equity from something. He was like, tax free, but y'all don't know about that yet. Y'all got to get there. I was like, or 1031 exchange. So he turned around. I was like, yeah, you got to know who you in the room with. But the people was like, you weren't afraid to say that? I was like, why? Like, worst case scenario, you got to think about what's the worst that can happen. And usually the worst thing that can happen is what's already happening. In the moment.
Yeah.
Usually. Right? So I just encourage people to be themselves.
Yeah. So listen, man, a lot of knowledge in this episode. So Jamisa, again, I want to say congratulations. I want to say thank you. And I want to tell you to keep being you, right? Because I think that's important. More so than anything else, that's what I'm gonna take away from this conversation is that listen, I love people that are who they are, right? That to me, that's amazing. For our listeners out there, listen, don't forget, like I said, subscribe, follow Jamisa. How can people reach you online? So Rosebud Investments is your company. What's your handle on IG?
So Rosebud Investments on Instagram, Rosebud Investments on Facebook, www.rosebudinvestments.com is the website. You can call 267-419-ROSE, which is 773.
And you're still taking clients in and showing them how to go through the process of auction?
Every single day, we sit in the auction with you. That $600 property flip has been like crazy. So then everybody's a homeowner. It's like you deal with one person, they bring 8 of their whole family. It's become like family reunions at the auction. So that's one of our most popular services. But the investment call is good too, because a lot of people come in and they're like, I don't know where to start. It's too much for me. I have to have credit. I have to have money. So that investment call is really dope because it's super duper affordable. But it helps you from exactly where you are. So if you're a person that's like, I have no money, I have no credit, we got $14,000 worth of unsecured credit that we give to you because we became affiliates with certain companies. So this is $14,000 for you. Build your credit now. So it's no longer an excuse. You don't have money. Okay, this is wholesaling. Or get $600. Don't eat Chick-fil-A for 3 weeks. That'll be your $600, right? We're walking you through that property flip, and then we're building that foundation. So we'll teach you, okay, once you get the house, you hold it. This is how you refi, or this is how you flip. This is how you rent it out. we just go through all of that from where you are. So then it's not like lost. It's not a lost cause, because some people, they're doing like listening to podcasts, reading books during these like 3 day, you want to learn real estate? We're coming to your city. Those things, you get a bunch of general information and you don't know where to start. So it's like, damn, now what? Now we got a GPS fee. That investment calls, like, where you say you're going, okay, make a right at the bank, make a left at the auction, park your car at, like, it's a whole step-by-step blueprint. So
I might be calling you myself. Listen, I've done all kinds of real estate deals. The one thing I've never done, I've seen people do it, is the auction flip. Like, so I've done subject twos. I've owned multifamilies. I've owned commercial buildings. I rented. I had Wells Fargo as a tenant. I've done all kinds of stuff in real estate, but I've never done one of those quick $600 flips. I need to learn that game.
Yeah.
I'm be inboxing you myself. Like, listen, you can never learn to love.
It's so crazy, and that's what I like about being in the millennial. We're like impulsive kind of, and we so innovative. Like, we with it. You got some people that say, I don't know, like, this working for me, I'm gonna just rock over here. No, that was one of the best things that ever happened, because their auction, first of all, they have them so often. Not only that, they have them everywhere. People don't pay taxes, they don't pay their mortgage everywhere. So it's like crazy.
But real estate to me is the illest thing. Real estate to me is the illest thing. I was telling people before that I spoke on a panel in Australia. And I really only was going because I've never been to Australia, right? So I was just going for the trip. But I spoke on a panel there, and I met all kinds of people from all across the world, and they were making money in real estate, and nobody was doing the same thing. So you had your buy and hold, you had your flippers. You had one guy who had millions of dollars in REITs, who was literally just sitting there getting passive income. And that's the thing. So this whole thing of like flipping the auction, that's a whole nother, like, it's always something. So the one thing I learned is you'll never know everything. All right. Yeah. It's always going to be, and like you said, people are creative. Like, you're creative. So, you're going to find this won't be the last thing. You'll probably figure out something else as you go along.
I've been finding so many things. Like, I just learned about syndication. And I was like,
okay. What? Yeah.
I ain't feel comfortable taking other people's money. Like, people like, take this $100,000. I'm like, no, you take it to the auction. Like, I was nervous, like, I play with my money, I ain't gonna play with yours.
Yeah.
But it's just so crazy. It's so many things with real estate, because real estate is everything. Like, you got it. So even if you take it back to like slavery days, they died for this land. Like, everything that we are came from this land. So when you think about land, you can't do anything really without it. You can't drive anywhere without partaking in real estate. Somebody owns it. You're born in the hospital, you die, you get buried, you're in a doctor's office, building. You get locked up, building. You learn at school, build. It's like, it's not one thing in this whole entire world that you're not consumed with real estate.
Absolutely.
Or you shopping malls, real estate. I was in Vegas because we got married in Vegas. So we were driving in an Uber, so I'm asking him questions like, how much does it cost to own something on the strip? He gave me a little piece of game that just changed the dynamics of how I thought. He said a lot of these people don't own, they only own the hotel, they don't own the land. He said, you get land, and you charge somebody to build on your land, you are the landlord, but they own that hotel, so you making money. I was like, damn, so I ain't got.
It's a lot of buildings in New York like that too. A lot of like, or it's old money that own the land, but they have nothing to do with the building that's on it.
Oh, because now I buy lots from the auction. You might get a lot, $200. The taxes on it, $130 a year. That's your land. Like, that's
land banking. That's the move.
I didn't know that though.
Here's the funny thing, right? So when me and Corey go out and we do our talks, the first thing we say is, how many people live somewhere? And obviously everybody raises their hand. I say, well, good. We're still going to be in business because,
right?
because that's the fact of the matter. And by the way, shameless plug, Corey and I wrote a book, Own Your Time and Space, for people out there. And part of the equation of space is what you just said. Why space will always have value, because it absolutely will. And that'll be in the description box as well. So thank you for giving your handles and everything. We'll make sure our people listen to this, watch this, contact you. I'm pretty sure you're going to get some feedback, because listen, you're amazing. I just want to say, keep being you. Don't change. Listen, and for the people out there, I just want to say, as we always say, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep. Game elevates, and we'll see you next time, man. This has been amazing. Peace.